All right, good afternoon. With me here today is City Administrator Faith Leach, Hassan Aden from the Department of Justice Consent Decree Monitoring Team, Deputy Commissioner Brown, and Director Akani from our Public Integrity Bureau CERT area. This morning around 9 a.m., officers were patrolling the 2000 block of West Pratt Street when what we believe, with our understanding, is that they saw a naked man walking around in the street. They went to engage and speak to the individual, at which time he ran into a business, ran into a back room of the business, barricaded himself in. Our officers made numerous attempts to get the man to come out. They made numerous attempts to identify themselves. They went into the location one time to address him and try to get him to come out, at which time he threw an unidentified liquid on the officers. So they retreated, got a bunker. They made a second entry. Upon the second entry, they were making their way up the steps. The individual charged at them with two knives in their hands. Officers retreated down the steps, and one officer received a minor injury to his face, at which time they discharged the weapon, striking the individual in the leg. Officers immediately rendered aid to the individual. While he was still being taken into custody, he was still reaching for a weapon, but officers were able to render aid to him, put a tourniquet on his leg, probably saved his life. At this time, the individual is identified as a 36-year-old male in stable condition at a local hospital. We've activated our critical incident reporting policy. This was a very intense situation. Once you see the body-worn camera, you'll see how intense, and you'll see how great of a job our officers did yet again, not only in trying to disarm the individual, but once he was injured, rendering aid and possibly saving his life. While it's still an open and active investigation, I want to commend the officers' work every single day. Another example of great police work. And at this time, we'll turn it over for a few questions.
So I'll leave the questions. Lee, we'll start with you, then we'll have each channel about the questions.
Okay, I got two questions for you, Commissioner. You said the officer was injured in the face.
Yes.
Was he cut?
We believe so. We believe it was with one of you'll see on the body-worn camera video when we release it, it's a very large weapon, maybe a sword or a machete, and then he had a knife in his other hand as well. We don't know if he threw it or if it was cut when he swung at it, but thankfully the officer had a bunker to protect himself.
Okay, and this unidentified liquid, do you still not know what it is? Like, the officers are fine, though?
So far, the officers are fine. We don't know what it is. As you can see, all the activity behind us with the fire department and our emergency units are inside trying to identify what that was, along with several other devices that he has inside the location that we're still investigating to see what those are.
11.
So this area has been pretty active as far as there was a police involved shooting 2 months ago. Is this area a concern of yours? Is it it's a little more active than it normally is?
Yes, it's always the Tri-District. This used to be called the Tri-District. It's not anymore because we redistrict. But this is an area that's always a concern for us. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of drug activity, and our officers are doing exactly what we want them to do. They're patrolling a high crime area. They're looking for things that were out of the ordinary, and seeing what we believe was either a naked or partially naked individual walking down the street on 40-degree weather. They want to speak to him. Obviously, he was suffering some kind of behavioral crisis.
Do you guys feel like because of the high crime in this area that you guys need to have more patrol in this area?
I'd love to have more patrols in every area. Unfortunately, there are limitations to what we can do with our manpower, but I'm happy with the job that the men and women have done this year, and I'm happy with the men and women, the job they've done here in this area.
And how were you guys informed that this young 36-year-old male was, wondering about Nick?
Officer was on routine patrol doing exactly what we want him to do, patrolling the area for anything suspicious, and he came upon the individual in the street or on the sidewalk, wherever he saw him. We haven't seen that video yet because that camera is inside the hot area.
And at this time, I see you have your EOD unit out here, which is an explosive operations unit. Have they accessed those devices at all?
They have been in the house. That's what we're trying to figure out exactly what everything they looked like they were handmade devices, so we don't know exactly what he was planning on doing, but it looks like the officers intervened in something that could have been much worse.
Was it his residence that he ran into?
We're not sure. It was a business, and it looks like he may have had an apartment in an upstairs area of the business.
These devices you're talking about, are these like, you think they're like pipe bombs or?
We don't know. That's why we have our EOD and our fire department here, and that's why we're so far away as well. We don't know what he has inside the house.
Did he threaten explosives, or was it just because of the liquids and everything else?
He never, as far as I know, he didn't threaten any explosives, but we don't know once we went into the apartment, we don't know what he had made over there.
Last question, Channel 13.
Have you guys, I know you said you guys have the surveillance video in terms of the body cam video. Have you seen it yourself, Chief?
Yes.
And what's your take on it?
Officers did a phenomenal job, and the officer is very lucky that they noticed something was out of the ordinary. They got the bunker just like they're trained to do. He had the bunker, probably saved the officer from getting stabbed or worse with the machete and the other knife that the individual charged at him with.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.